Good evening. I'd like to call the 2023 budget workshop to order at Canada's Town Hall. Call to order. Roll call.
Supervisor Vestola,
Here.
Councilman O'Connor,
Here.
Councilman Stat,
Here.
Councilman Gronwall,
Here.
Councilwoman Crowley.
Present. And I'd like our highway superintendent to lead the pledge today.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. I wanted to give an update on the Honeyway Central Schools Day of Caring. I had a short meeting today in Honeyway. We've got potentially 52 seniors coming here. That's senior in high school. 6 or more faculty. That's if all the seniors show up. So we're still looking for some tools and help from residents if you know someone else, but I've got some town staff helping out and some volunteers, but I could still use more help, so I'm not running around too much that day. Any questions or discussion on that? So there'll be painting, cleaning, scrubbing, a lot of gardening. We're gonna put in some more flowers. It's gonna look really shipshape, including scrubbing up the town court. And if highway needs anything, we might have extra people, Jeremy. And I just don't know, typically Fridays, they don't all show up, and then some might, they don't have to force them. So we should get at least 40. I'm hoping 44. I'm gonna be there the next couple of days pumping them up, so.
Is 52 the whole senior class?
Correct. The ones that are eligible to graduate.
Okay.
They might not all. Anyways. Yeah, so that's a wonderful thing, and we're really happy that Honeyway Central Schools is participating. Any other questions? Certainly, you can always text me, email me, and I'll be here in the afternoons the next few days. They'll only be here for about an hour and 20 minutes because of the bus schedule, but it's just it's a good thing, and hopefully we make it a tradition. Canandaigua Airport tour did that yesterday. Actually, the interesting part is a $2.5 million. Excuse me, $2.5 million economic impact, and that's minimum, and it's only going up. Small stories such that the FedEx leadership team, including CEO, fly in, fly out real quick. They don't have to go through security, so it's really nice for them to come into the airport, buy fuel, and so forth. There's talk of actually putting a restaurant in and making it more available to the public at that airport, so that's pretty neat stuff. Meeting I had at the county yesterday as well. We haven't had update on our zoning maps since 2006. Those are requested, and hopefully we'll have them in our hands, which will help out our planning board, just about every department.
And what is a zoning map?
The zoning map is zoning of the town.
Is it FEMA zoning? Is it the different districts?
The districts, yeah. So properties have changed. The aerial photos are better now, so it's going to get more accurate. And we've joined and subdivided properties, and it hasn't been done for almost 20 years. So it's probably a good idea to do that. And the county's planning department offers $5,000 a year. I initiated that request in the third quarter, so that means I'll still have another $5,000 next year. Communications straightforward. Any questions on the communications? I did go back and forth a little bit with Richmond Fire District. Had a conversation today. It sounded like might get something back from them. You saw the letter I gave them. They were uncomfortable presenting a draft budget to us in case it got out to the public. I said we'd shred it, and it was possible that it might happen. Right. She seems very nice. This is all. Yeah, she really seems nice. So, yeah, but she had to go back to the commissioners and her hands. Yeah, that's what I talked to them about this. We need to have why you want to raise. You just tell us you want to raise. Everything else, why? Right. Yeah, I've seen a rock in a hard place, but I did try. So they've got a new treasurer. She's good, but again, she's got to report to the commissioners. So,
what's the concern about the public being aware?
I think because maybe they're just not done. Maybe, but I don't know.
Okay, that-
Mhm.
It's not a secret, they just don't know. I mean, it's, a bottom line is they don't know. They don't know the workings
Oh,
of town government. So it's not a secret, because you can go to the meeting, you can go to the meeting when they're doing the budget. I know
Right.
exactly what it is. So it's no secret. It's just, they're uneducated in town law and don't understand town.
got it.
Okay, and I try to explain it to them over and over and over again.
And she was, yeah, she was fine too,
She
but
just doesn't
again,
know, I mean, she's brand new.
right,
Mhm.
right. So again, I tried, we went, I don't know if you saw the emails back and forth, I was like, can I get this? And back and forth, so, yeah.
I've told her
Anyways.
multiple times, I should go down to New York for the town board or town meeting that they have down there every year.
Right,
Go down and learn what you have to do.
right.
Yeah, or there's even local meetings, I'm sure they could attend too, that would help them.
You know, they have specific fire district things down there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So.
Okay. Well, they do know about our next meeting as well, so they know the date, so. Thanks to Kate for filling on the hazard mitigation plan, and there's a whole bunch of deadlines for that, and I'll be working through that whole process going forward.
So does that mean we're gonna table the resolution for the fire protection and ambulance service?
I don't think we have to. That's coming up under new business.
Hmm.
We can table that.
I was just curious since
Yeah.
you're
I
still
wanted to be
waiting for
certain.
information.
Yep, I just want to be certain we were done with our, yep. So on to new business, yes, I moved to table the fire protection and ambulance service agreements. And Hemlock was possibly gonna come tonight, but they didn't, but they had talked about coming because they're looking at us a little bit more of an increase as well. They're thinking about purchasing a new truck.
Yeah, but it was only 2%.
Correct.
So I don't have a problem.
Oh, did I
2%.
miss that in that letter that they sent? I couldn't find the increase.
They're requesting a 2% increase.
I see it in the budget, but I didn't see it from them.
Where'd they go?
Cool.
But we'll, again. Where'd they go?
Hemlock Fire District.
Brad, I didn't put everything in your packet. You have an abbreviated packet. I apologize. I was saving trees per Terry.
Got extra trees.
Speaking of trees, the airport is gonna be trimming a lot of trees and they'll be, if you want firewood, they said, just come on over. So I said, oh, that's a great idea. Just gotta think about that. The trees are getting closer to the runway. I don't know how that happens. And there was talk, by the way, they don't need to extend the runway because of the technology of aircraft. They're getting better at landing on a shorter runway,
Huh.
that was interesting. That was a cool tour. Okay, I'll move to table that fire protection ambulance service agreement for 2023. Is there a second?
Well, second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
That carries. Thank you. Resolution 2 is setting a place time for the public hearing pertaining to special assessment for water district. Capital improvement costs, benefit format. I need a motion
I'll make a motion.
and a second.
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Carries. And the short-term rental update, I'll move that. It's got more teeth. It's good. She looked it over. Planning board's happy. Everyone's happy. I need a second.
I'll second.
And that's local law number 3. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, who made the second? I heard two voices.
Mark did.
Thank you.
And resolution to Carol Jokey stepping up yet again, a full member of the Canadice ZBA. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that carries.
Okay, I have one more question now that we're actually moving on to the budget workshop. Since we tabled the resolution for the fire and ambulance services, this tentative budget will have a number in it, correct? Even though we haven't officially approved the contract?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
good question. So our budget workshop starts, I just handed out another breakdown. There was lots of numbers, but it was important, I feel, to look at CPI, Consumer Price Index, COLA data from our federal government. I also produced the third quarter report for the CDs, because it's gonna be the same report in October, so I thought I'd give you that ahead of time. And also a controller report stating how we are fiscally sound, and also environmentally, which involves social services and so forth. And the last item is our 24 tentative budget.
Controller, New York State controller.
Yes, sir.
Rating.
It's interesting what that is. So the terminology that they use.
Oh, yeah, the score, right?
Yes,
So. Fiscal stress and environmental stress, okay. It's like 3.3 out of.
so we're so low, we don't even rank. In other words, it would take a lot of financial mismanagement to get into a score. So we're undefined, so to speak. It's interesting how they do that, but is that what you're asking? Why it's the terminology?
2022.
Yep.
Score is 3.3.
Yep.
Which. I thought it's 72.5. Out of what? I don't know.
Well, they're
And then designation, there's no designation, and then the environmental stress is 15.7. You know, out of. I don't have any bearing as to what that number means. Is that a good number? Is that a bad number?
these are good numbers. That's what I put on the front page of that, the top sentence. Those are good numbers. Those are really good numbers.
But compared to what? What are we comparing?
Well, it's compared to across the state. So there's cities and towns and villages that are in deep doo-doo that
Like, what's a deep doo-doo number?
in the 70s.
So this is a score of.
100 out of 100. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's yes. Out of 100. I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Gives me a little more
Yeah. Percentage wise, like 100% of the things you're doing are wrong.
Right.
The lower the score, the better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like golf. Like we're
Exactly.
we're better than scratch golfers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting the first time I looked at it last year.
Yeah,
I saw
look,
the same thing.
Point range is down here and we're in the no designation class. We run from
Yeah, if
0
you
to
look at
30.
those columns on those next pages, it tells you everything.
Thanks.
It's fine print, I know.
It's so small.
Right, well,
You wanna borrow my cheaters?
that's why I got these. Yep, but that's a good question. No, I know the first time you look at it, what's going on here? Yep,
Mhm.
good question.
3.3 out of 5, out of 10,
Out of 100,
Out of 100.
out of 100. Yep. So,
Our annual audit or our last audit, they found a couple things that they thought needed looking at. But it was nothing substantial that
Yep.
required any remediation.
and I've also requested a 22 audit, and that should be forthcoming because they were doing school district audits.
The town fiscally is in very, very good shape,
Mhm.
probably exceptionally good shape.
Real good shape. Yes, we are. Okay, other questions? So going forward. These are all tentative. Some of these numbers are gonna change. There's one figure that I gotta get from the state that'll change things slightly, but we'll know that once the controller gets back to me.
So one of the things that I noticed
Yes.
as I was working through this is townwide expenses. Last year to this year,
Yep.
are up $97,000.
Okay,
Which is a 16% increase. That's, even, to me, that's concerning.
Mhm.
Ontario County, as you know, is, forecasting a 10% increase.
correct.
And, I would expect, with, some of the other pressures, to see somewhere between a 3 and 5% increase. When I looked at the highway, it's a 3% increase. And the water district, for all intents, is flat. And so one of my concerns is, as we look through this budget, and, one of the things that, I know, that is of some concern are some of the salaries that we are paying currently. I'm concerned that $97,000 a year is not sustainable.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, part of it, there's a lot of reasons for it. And we can go through it and discuss it.
Well, before we start going through the expense lines,
Sure,
I have a macro question.
sure.
It's probably because I don't understand it, but when I look at the town tax to be raised in 2024 versus 2023, I get only a $3,995 increase,
correct.
$4,000 increase.
Mhm.
Yet the townwide general budget is going up 16%. Where's the additional funding? Where's the additional revenue coming from?
Well, the revenue, for instance, when you look at that CD, that's part, those CDs is part of it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's $47,000.
No, it's not. That's actually the A. There's also a DA component as well.
What do
If
you
look at
mean?
The report I gave you. Do you have the CD?
Well, I'm just concerned.
Well,
that-
can I answer her question though?
Yeah, no, I'm just concerned that if there's an error in the revenue projections, someday we're gonna wake up and discover that the town taxes are going up more than $4,000.
Right.
$4,000 is great. I don't have any problem with that.
Mhm.
I can speak for Rick and Kate. They don't have any problems with that. $4,000 townwide increase in town taxes is okay. That's okay. But I'm just concerned where the additional revenue is coming from to cover all the expense lines.
On the townwide line, the CD revenue is 47,000. For highway, it's 31, and for water, it's 6.
Yeah, when you add those all together, you're.
Understood.
Okay.
Like I say, I was looking at
Oh,
townwide.
sure.
Okay.
When, when
Yeah,
I
'cause-
when I hear you say town, I thought you meant,
No, you want to look at the different
Right.
accounts.
okay, I just want
separately.
to make certain.
Yeah.
That you, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, we can go through it any way you want to, but I'm just saying, I gotta get my mind around that. I just don't quite
Right.
follow the
Yeah, yeah.
nuts and bolts there.
There is a number from the governor. I did work on this with Chris as well, and I could not get that number out. That might change some of this. I don't know what that impact would be. Being quite honest, I'm not certain.
What do you
One
mean?
thing we've always been conservative in is the projected sales tax coming to Canada. We've always been very conservative, and it's usually a lot more than what we budget.
Mhm.
That's correct.
And you will find that sales tax overage will probably cover this.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And I remember Kate, you were saying way back when, we gotta do a better job,
Of projecting revenues.
yes.
I
and
agree with
And that
that.
sales tax is a big one because you look at, so Hotel Canandaigua just opened up. And they're getting rack rate is $320 a night, and that's only going up, and they're sold out.
Mhm.
There is a new service coming from Manhattan to the lake house, where they're taking a seaplane, flying from Manhattan, coming to the lake house. There's serious money, like big money coming in tourist wise.
Mhm.
And there's all kinds of tour buses floating around now, so that sales tax and visitor spending is only gonna increase. I look at what's going on with Bristol Mountain, we're turning business away. which is crazy because we want to make certain we do a good job with the millions we're taking in.
Good.
But you factor in the rate of inflation,
And
so everything that goes through, every purchase through Eastfield Mall.
maybe just look at that.
They're
Can we
paying
look at that?
sales tax on that inflated rate? And we haven't factored in that inflated rate in our budget,
Right.
and this county sales tax numbers will only increase. So we've always been conservative on our projections.
Well, for instance, if you go to page 1 of revenues, and this was a tough one because the reason why, and this might be low, and it's like, how do you do this? So the interest rates have gone up for homes, so there's fewer home purchases. So real property taxes, how will that factor in? Is that 52% drop realistic, or maybe that should be higher? That's,
Where are you at, Chris,
I'm on page 1 of tentative revenue.
of your budget?
Yes. Tentative revenue, real property taxes.
And is
And that
that,
was one where Chris was working with me on this one, and she pounded that down a little bit.
okay,
And she wanted to be conservative. And
is that why the non-property went from 305 to a half a mil? Is because of the sales tax? Is that what that is?
Yeah, all right, but what about two below that? Non-property tax items was 305,000 this year, you've got it 5,000 for next year. That's $200,000. What is that?
I'm sorry.
We're on the page 1 of revenue.
Of revenue.
So it's like.
That's a $195,000 increase. What is that?
well, that's because back in 22, we were at 597. You just,
Mhm.
Yeah, but this year we're at 305.
to date,
No, this is a modified budget.
to date.
To date is 288,647.
Right, we know we're gonna go, probably gonna go above that.
But that's $200,000.
I understand.
Is that sales tax? Okay,
Well, even if it keeps going 288 through August is another 4 months, so that 50% increase would be,
No, that's only 2 quarters. There's 4 quarters in a year.
that's only 2 quarters, the
Well, yeah,
288.
yeah, that's, see, August 31st.
Well, then
You
to
double that.
to John's point, it was budgeted extremely conservative for this year.
I'm doing my best to be conservative. We can make that bigger. Yeah, so if you double the 288, certainly.
so if I take the 288 over 8 months, is that what I'm doing?
No, it's 2 quarterly distributions. So the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter.
Got it,
Yep, so double it.
got it,
Sorry.
that's fine.
Yeah, so 500,000 again is conservative. So 560, 576 is doubling that number. And even then, we're lopping off the 646. So we could make that 550, no problem. You follow me? And that's probably what the trend. And people are still spending.
Yeah, no, I'm not suggesting that. I just didn't understand what
sure.
it was and why it was
Oh, sure.
showing a $200,000 increase.
Yep. No, good question. That's why we're here.
Non-property tax distribution by county is sales tax.
Correct. Well, I guess we're government and we like to make things confusing, so no one else could know what the heck we're doing. I had pencil.
What franchises is underneath there?
Oh, yeah, your cable charter 1.
National Grid that pays a franchise fee on every power pole they have in the town. Frontier pays a franchise fee for every power pole. Charter cable TV pays a fee for running cable through the town.
Empire access.
Anybody that has any business that runs and uses right of way property pays a franchise fee. So all the cable, all the power lines, all the poles that run right away, they pay a franchise.
And again, with that sales tax figure, I'd rather be just a tiny bit low. But yes, I think more than 500 would make sense.
Okay, so on page 2 of revenue,
Can we, do we want to touch that number yet while we're still on that page? So we don't forget
Okay.
to go back to
we
it?
can do whatever you want.
Well, no, I'm just asking if we have consensus that 550 is a better number.
So you
560.
don't need to raise it.
Well, it's more
There's
realistic.
no
It helps
point in
us.
raising it in the budget here.
Excuse me?
There is no point in raising it. That 2024 town taxes are basically flat with 2023, so there's no need to raise that.
Correct. The money to be raised by tax is not going up.
I know, but there's no need to raise this.
Understood, right? Because right now it's in balance. Let's keep going. Right. So on the next page, there's $15,000 that's new in A 3089. What's that? Mm-hmm,
That is grants from NYSERDA, DEC for our clean energy, clean smart. Good question.
got it.
And you heard Rob say, boom, boom, we should be fine. And that's anticipated, and that's possibly low, depending on how swiftly we adopt certain things.
That's a one-time shot.
Correct, but we have to account for it as revenue.
I know, but that should not be in the budget as an annual increase. If that's a one-time shot, you have to be very careful. It's like the ARPA funding.
So how do we handle the ARPA funding?
It was an unbudgeted revenue. And then what we did were budget entries for both the expense and the revenue
I
side.
could ask Christina about that. 'cause
Yeah,
she-
ask her about that.
She knew about that.
Yeah, but,
She knew about this.
and remind her that that's a one-time shot. Ask her how it should be handled. That shouldn't be in an annual budget.
And what page is this on?
It's on page 2 of townwide revenue,
A 3089.
correct?
And that's why it's in a different
Yep,
point size, if you. will,
Yep,
just
that
the way
makes
that-
sense.
That was added in.
for you to call it out. That
Yep.
makes all kinds of
Oh, yeah,
sense.
definitely wanted to make that line, yep. I was
Okay.
Trying to look up all these codes where does that go? Where does that go? Belong here.
And the CDs, okay, so I just did a quick calculation. The townwide CDs assumes that we're gonna pay for the grader, right, out of townwide?
Correct. That was the initial resolution that the grade would come out
Right, right.
100% out of.
That's supposed to be in this 2023 budget any.
Right, but what it'll do is it'll take some of the principal away from the CDs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yes,
Okay,
of course.
so we're
Oh,
good?
yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay,
So speaking of CDs, I'm gonna start to migrate to New York Class, and New York Class pays a higher interest than C and B, and it's more liquid. And there's no penalty, so we can write checks off it. And other towns are using it, they're very happy with it. So when I went to I'm sorry, essentially, yes, yeah. So when I went to I even did report that I went to the state county conference
mhm.
annual meeting, and made a lot of good connections and contacts, and one of them was with New York Class, and many others, town supervisors totally endorsed it.
But it's not a money market.
No, it's similar to where you write checks.
Okay,
It's
good.
just liquid cash.
Okay. Okay, because in one of the AOTs, it said that we're not allowed to use money markets. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
Nice.
many towns are using, including locally Canandaigua and Lima to name just a couple.
okay.
So I'm reaching across county lines for consults as well.
Speaking of
Going
grader,
back to the sales tax,
And CD, where are CD?
So there's in the townwide, it's on page 1. under use of money and properties, it's A 2401R. It's one up from the bottom. It's in the second group from the bottom. Page 1 of townwide revenue. Go to the next group. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So the sales tax has a wide
that's the
boundary
big,
because if we get a recession in 2024,
right, and
your
people
sales
stop
tax is
spending,
going to plummet,
right?
trust me.
Yep.
So it's okay, if I'm okay with the 500 now that I understand what it is, but I wouldn't.
I wouldn't bump it,
Okay.
no.
And
not-
we'll give a better idea because in just a little while, we'll have a new number from the third quarter. Well,
Right.
It's pretty quick. We usually get that ACH, that 2 or 3 days after, so the second, third, fourth.
Well, and fourth quarter is when all the stores make their money, yeah,
Yes, indeed. That's the
Yeah.
big one. Yeah.
right,
So,
I
Okay.
think we're just late, you know, it should have been here in March.
it's Jeremy's Christmas present,
The last I've heard is the first or second week of October.
there you go,
But at this point, it goes in this ear and comes right out that ear.
I guess,
Until I
As long as you get
actually
it-
in the driveway over there.
as long as you get it by March.
right,
Actually, you don't want it till March.
So the county ordered theirs, a John Deere, in January, and they received it a month ago.
Bristol got theirs already,
You know,
they ordered it about a month before us, right?
yes,
Different manufacturer.
Bristol's the same manufacturer.
So what gives us?
A
How did they,
road grader.
how did they rate? How did they get theirs earlier than us?
They ordered it early.
Oh, okay,
They
got it.
ordered a month before.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, sorry. I thought it was, okay.
Caterpillar.
We purchased a road grader. We have a fund balance that is disproportionately high for the size of the town.
mhm,
We got our own fund, when we did the water district, the town of Canadice paid all the costs of the water district. Then when the bonding came through, the town, monies that the town spent came back to the town and was added to a water district expense. So therefore, if there's 90% of the population of the town of Canadice doesn't live on the lake, there's no reason for them to pay for the water district.
Exactly.
So we fronted the water district the money, the funding. When it was approved, it came back to the town. So if we expended, let me use round numbers, 750,000. That came back to the town and all of a sudden our fund balance is too much for the town, which can trigger audit from the state comptroller.
mhm.
Too much.
Which is expensive. If you're sitting on too much money, you gotta lower your taxes.
If the town's sitting on too much money, they say, all right, where'd it come from? And why aren't you?
Too little, you can't have too much.
Yes.
It's a balance. That's why we're here.
So we purchased a road grader outright rather than finance it. Why spend money, taxpayers' money on interest when we've got fund balance to pay for it? And it saved a substantial amount of money by just outright
I was
purchase.
glad to bring that forward. Yes,
And we've been arguing road grader for years,
Been 10 years.
trying to find the
10 years,
funding
back
for it.
borrowing, stealing.
So when the money came back from the water district,
Mhm.
it made sense.
it
We saved a
made
ton of money.
financial sense to do it rather than buy it on,
Thank God we did.
lease. And
What did it cost?
276,000 and some change.
300,000.
And
Yeah.
if we financed it, we'd have spent 35,000 in interest.
Mhm.
So why give them in the interest? And I think it was a 7-year finance plan that they wanted.
Yeah.
It was a foolish waste of money. You know, when you got the money in your pocket. And then we could use that money that we saved on interest. Infrastructure of the highway or just keep it in the fund.
Mhm.
But what the towns, little townships, if they have too much money, the state comptroller might come back and say, all right, you've got too much fund balance, maybe you should reimburse the taxpayers. Could you imagine the nightmare that would take?
Mhm.
Reimburse taxpayers, but then lower the tax rate. So then next year, you can't really put 2% on last or the new number.
Yeah, it
so
creates a,
Lower than you raise it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
so
creates a
so
roller-
5 years to get back up there.
it creates a roller coaster.
If we reduce our fund balance by making these purchases outright,
Yeah,
it gets us below the radar where we're not gonna trigger an audit. That was a reason.
I've got one I want to bring up that's not in here that should be, and that's on page 6.
expense or revenue?
Oh, it's an expense, the new
Okay.
software for CEO. And it's a big bite, however, it's gonna help out our ZBA and it's gonna help out our planning board.
What page number is that?
Page 6 of the,
General fund?
yep. So A 8664.4, so 8664.
Okay.
So the new software is 10K. I'm hoping to negotiate that down because there's a big upfront cost. But it's important for us to have, kind of look forward and look into the future, and the future's technology. And the Joe and Rich sat through it, and I sat through a few of them too, but then they discovered this one, it's much better. The resident can actually enter in a lot of the data themselves and submit, so they can do a lot of things offline. And also helps them with the meter readings on site, so they can do things through their phone and so forth. So I do have a copy of that proposal, and it's a good one.
What's the name of the software?
Cloud Permit.
Okay,
Is it GIS based?
That's a good question. I presume it would be.
Because I might be able to benefit from something like that myself. If it has GIS mapping, you know, like if they can bring up a map where
mhm.
open permits are and it shows all the open permits in the town. I could use that.
Oh, wow.
Cross pipes, signs. We could use it on the water district for fire hydrant locations.
Right,
You can't get that from Encore, or
No,
it's hard, you can't, not easily?
no.
Okay.
GIS is very expensive.
tell me again what you need, what layer do you need?
It's basically asset mapping.
Okay, cause Encore, so when I was on the conservation
Yeah,
board, right?
yeah.
We had licensing through the town so that we could see the different layers that
Absolutely.
property owners can't.
Yeah,
Does Canadice have that?
we should. That's a
So
worth a
initially, when that was started, each department got a special password that we could go into and see different things that the public can't. I don't think any of us have been using it, so I don't even remember what my password is. But
Okay,
Yeah,
that,
so
that's,
there-
I use the free version.
Every,
oh,
yeah.
Jeremy,
That's
every
not gonna-
every culvert's labeled with a number.
yeah, we
So
should,
culvert 433 is right here, and it was
Yeah.
replaced in this, and it's that diameter.
we should get you town access.
Yeah,
Do you want me to help with that? I would, be more than willing, because it's Linda Phillips, I think that
no.
we have to go to.
no, she's planning board.
Right,
Yeah, no, it's, it just, I'll get you her name, and she's really good. She works for Sean Berry.
okay,
Don't involve Linda Phillips.
okay.
That'll
But there should be a password
Okay,
for
do you want
each
me to do that,
department.
or You're gonna do it,
You could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay,
So it'd be,
it'd be for
if you
everybody
get
in
to
the
Tony
town,
Ontario Street, the girl you want, she's the head, and then she can direct you to the right person.
that's
So
fine,
they've already mapped the town of Canadice. I know the county roads.
they've mapped the whole Ontario County,
Everything, and
everything, it's all these different layers, it's wonderful.
And Jeremy, we haven't gotten a town map. I'm also gonna request that. That's my next thing next week. My understanding, they don't have a town map. So yeah, there's certainly things from the county that we need to get. And maybe,
That's useful information to me to know. I didn't realize that existed on that.
Yeah.
oh yeah, in fact, maybe
Yeah.
meet me down there at the county and we get sit in this one girl's office and boom, just zoom in on anything you want. And you're like, oh wow, show me everything you got.
You might need a better monitor, I'm guessing.
Take this off.
Yeah, what should we at 19 inch or not even 15, 14?
It's the same thing as that right there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you
no.
might need a real monitor, yeah.
I was just at Griffiths Air Force Base and I went in a control room and I shot, we had a satellite map of New York State, every plane that was in the air. The technology we didn't have during 9/11. I was just at the Griffiths Air Force Base for a few hours, and the stuff they're working on is amazing. But every plane that was in the air, the white line was the altitude, the yellow line was the trajectory, the arrow was which way they were going. It was just amazing to see.
Cool.
Get that on your phone now.
What's that?
You can get that on your phone now.
That,
There's an app where you can sit there and it'll tell you every airplane that is above you and around.
In Rochester area. The app applies to the local airport.
Mhm.
oh, okay, all right.
You could be sitting in Canada.
I think the Air Force has got a slightly better program, but.
Yeah, they're probably mapping every plane in the world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, and they were doing cyber threat assessments and you could see Israel, Israel kept coming up a lot, but China, just different cities in the United States, Canada, Mexico was just amazing, but Israel kept getting hit a lot in China. They were just lobbing stuff back and forth, real time, cyber attacks, just stuff. It was crazy.
Okay, so are we gonna add the 10,000 for the software?
Yes, I that would go in that line. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yep.
What
It-
line is that? 886.
You'll get a new one. You'll get a new one next week, but it's 8664.4.
Dot four.
It's going from 3,000 to 10,000.
3 to 10 or 3 to 13?
3 to 13,
3 to 13.
yeah.
Unless she can negotiate less.
Yeah, and I am gonna try to negotiate. Yes, that's on my list, but I want to talk to y'all first.
Yeah, Mark's right.
It did, the software is not due till March, so we are using Williamson Law till March,
Mhm.
so we've got time. And that quote was good for. And there's other solutions that they don't, yeah, the quote expired, but I think we'll be all right. I'm pretty.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
The other thing you wanna ask about is annual maintenance cost.
It's in here.
Okay,
So part of that 10 grand is the initial bite that we have to pick up.
okay. Nice.
So there's a data import of 3,000 and implementation of 1,500. So that upfront is 45. The annual costs are basically 5,500 a year after, 24, 25, 26.
And this is for the CEO and,
Planning board, it'll be useful for planning board as well.
nice,
That's my understanding. Yeah,
Planning board, CEO.
the ZBA.
probably the
Highway.
assessor too.
Highways included
Yeah.
in it.
What's that?
Highway will be included in that.
That I'm not aware. We had never had that discussion. But certainly if it's
We
if it's
should
valuable
ask.
to Jeremy, I'd certainly.
Yeah, I can go through it and see if it's useful for me.
Yeah, you want to take a peek at this?
Mhm.
And there's not much here that you can see, but you might see something, hey, this would be great. Yep. Okay, so that's settled there. What else? The planning board numbers went up and a lot of it was the comp plan. And I met with Caitlin, and one item that she brought out was part of that package is a list serve email program. So to better communicate with our residents, and I know I can do a better job with that. I am doing a state of the towns at FLCC that's gonna be recorded. So there'll be a link on the website on how we're doing, but to be able to email a road closure to the residents, something going on with the water, don't drink your water today, an email blast to our residents. The listserv, she said, will do this.
It will, but, I'm assuming that the residents are going to put themselves on.
Yes, they
Okay.
gotta opt in. Right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, it's a communication tool. We'll
Right,
use it for our survey too. And we're gonna try and ask the same questions that we've asked for several comp plans going forward.
We're-
at same page as page 6.
Yep, I was at the top and did,
That's the 40 or 45, 50 is what you were talking about.
yeah, and I'm playing with the numbers still a little bit, and I think they're gonna need some massaging because the numbers they gave me, and the numbers I came up with are a little different. I think they were a little low on a few.
actually, if that's comp plan expense, I thought that was lower, it's lower than I expected. Cause it's like $2,500 for a comp plan.
Well, the county can support us with 40 hours, and I had a meeting. Part of my meeting with Tom Harvey yesterday is we've got a newer planner on board and I'd like to get him involved. Because I think it'll go smoother. There's a certain person I want to have work on that comp plan.
That listserv can't be the only method of communication.
Yeah, there'll probably be mailers and, yeah, snail mail.
And you think $2,500 is enough money for 12 months work on a comp plan?
Yeah, 45.
Yeah, but the budget from last year is 2,000.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking, see what I'm saying?
I think that,
That might be a.
I
smidge low.
think that the figure I came up with total is different than theirs and I wanted to talk to him about it, but I didn't get time to really do that until today.
Okay.
I've got 16,500 total. I've got 5,700 in, the chair stipend, the planning board meetings, and then, the extra, those, you can only have up to 3 people on that, because any more than 3 people from the planning board on the comp plan committee would be a quorum, and that's, you can't have that.
Right.
So, you need a citizen volunteer and so forth, so I came up with 5,700. But then I put that to say 6, but I'm thinking 16,500 total, and I'll get a better number going forward, but can I just say 16,500?
Yeah.
Is total for planning board
Yeah.
on that, does that set well? And thank you, Kate, for understanding that.
Last time we did the comprehensive plan, there was, I think, only 2 planning board members on it, and
There was 3 of us.
oh, you've done it since I was on, okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking way back.
Oh, yeah, well, I've only been here since 2007.
Yeah.
And actually, it was, and different folks snuck in too, so we did actually,
That's
oh
something,
yeah, when I first started, I was a citizen volunteer.
yeah,
That's right.
that's something that probably should be done every 10 years.
It should be, and I apologize, it took so long for me to get it going. But you're right.
I mean, it was probably 15 years between,
It
When
was,
I was on
it was
the planning
96, 99, and then 2008, and then we wrapped it up in 2009. The town board gave it back to us 6 years later.
Okay, so page 4, and this is a net, okay?
Page 4.
Page 4 of townwide expense.
Which page are you on? I'm sorry.
Page 4 townwide expense.
Line number 80.
No, the line is the superintendent, it's the salary line. And like I say, this is a net, but forgive me. In the budget, the salary is 74.
Yep,
On the salary sheets, it's 73.
okay.
So you gotta pick one. So the 2 match.
70,
you're on page 4 of the general fund tentative?
85010.1.
Correct.
But that didn't get updated. 74.
Like I say, it's different in the budget than it is on the salary sheet, and then we can start talking about the salary. That's my.
So before we go any further here,
74.
before we go any further here,
Sure, Terry's got something.
yeah, so all the salaries went up 12 to 56%. I have never in my life seen that level of increase in town salaries. So what is going on here?
Need to get up to the times.
Well, it's 20.
It's page 4 of the tentative budget on general funds.
Yeah, it's midway on the page.
It's, if you find the A5010.1. Personnel service. Yes, okay.
74.
Yeah, and like I say, on all the salary sheets, it's 73.
So,
Town board.
To your question,
Town board up 12.16%. What's the justification?
because you're
Why
gonna,
isn't that 2% or 3% or something?
well, did you see the coal and the CPI data?
That doesn't count. You can't raise the town board 12%. You can't raise your own salary 56%. Can't do that. I don't care about CPI. You can't do that 1 year. You maybe have a plan, do it over multi-years. You can't do it in 1 year.
So,
I don't support that.
okay, can I tell you what happened in one town?
You can tell me.
Okay,
I don't support it.
supervisor put in, this is awful to say, but I can't tell you which
36%.
town, but it's a fact. The supervisor put in a number of 23. The town board came back with a different number. You wanna know what that number is? 30. In Canandaigua, the supervisor is put in for a much higher rate, but that's a different story because they're gonna do away with the town manager perhaps. And it's going from 20 something to 90 something.
What's the supervisor compensation in the town of Naples, town of Bristol, town of West Bloomfield?
Well,
They're closer.
can
We
we
look at the town of Canandaigua, the town of Victor, those are totally different animals.
Right, I understand that. They also have more people to do the different things that need to be done. So, one thing is we could hire somebody, at $20 an hour to do certain things, and that would be $10,000-15,000. That's one possibility. If you look at the per hour figures, I'm putting in more than 16 hours a week, and I have been for quite a while. I'm about 17.7 cents an hour.
I don't care.
Okay.
You can't increase your salary 56% in 1 year.
And I disagree because if, and this is my theory on it. Chris pulls up lane, he can't run it, okay? So we gotta find somebody new to take it. Who in the wide world west would come in here for the money he's making right now, and take this job with all the hassles? The hours are a ton more than 16 hours. You're not gonna get it.
Show me what the town supervisor of Bristol, Naples and West Bloomfield is getting.
They are in the 20s, the low 20s.
Yeah, Bristol, I think is like 25-ish.
Yes, it depends on the town. So West Bloomfield's 25.
Okay.
And that was 23 numbers. We don't know. We're still kind of comparing because we're all going before our budget. So we're going with old numbers and we know they're gonna be probably higher. So that's a good question.
Well, it only takes 3 people to pass the budget. So I don't know where John and Kate and Mark are. I know where Mark's at. He's with you. I'm not, so I don't know about Kate and John.
I agree with Mark that some of what we have to deal with is attracting.
Succession planning is what
People
I'm,
that are interested.
You
know
can't
what
do
I
it in
mean?
1 year. Do it over 3 years. Do it over 5 years. You can't do it in 1 year.
see, when Chris Singer didn't take a raise for so many years, that's sort of affected. So the
It
lowest.
sure did.
Sure did. That's going back to what we were saying
And
about having to pay back.
We had several years when I was on the town board, the town board didn't give themselves a raise at all. And we gave everybody else in town a raise, but the town board didn't give.
We've had a raise. I've been on the board. I think this is my what, 8th, 9th year.
It's the lowest
We've had a
paying,
raise.
it's the lowest paying town board. And again, you want to attract, we're lucky I had a hard time getting somebody to run. I'm sorry, but you know, I'm glad we got a quality person here. I'm a taxpayer too, and I'm all about succession planning and thinking about the future. And it'll be tough. That's why Bristol Supervisor Green had the same situation and he had to present to his board and he also presented to the county as well. That same kind of thing, succession planning. You want someone who can afford to do it. I gave up a full-time job before I came here and I want to be able to afford to work here. Otherwise, I won't be able to put in this kind of hours going forward. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Daryl Marshall did.
Oh, yeah, I
wrote
forgot about that.
himself a 33% raise flat out last year and then offered the highway department 2%. That's not sitting too well in town of Richmond. But I have to, I gotta see the final numbers before I'm gonna make a comment. But one of the reasons I've been asked to be supervisor for the town of Canada. And there's no way in hell I would do that amount of work for that amount of money. Second of all, I'm not qualified to do it.
Okay, I'm not saying the job shouldn't be paying 25,000 a year or 30,000 a year, whatever. I'm just saying
Are
you
you
can't get
concerned
there
about-
at one
are you
year.
Yeah,
concerned
in
about
one
optics?
jump. Yeah.
So I'm not debating the 25, maybe 30. I'm just saying getting there.
In one fell swoop is right.
One
Well,
fell swoop is what-
I'll be honest, if I knew what I know now last year, I would have advocated much better for a lot of employees and coworkers and all that, but I was still working C shift. I was working 12-hour shifts and doing this job. And I did the best I could last year, a year ago. And I'm still teaching. I mean, I work 80 hours a week and I work a lot of hours here. And I tried I'm sorry, I tried not to work for 3 days just to see if I could go without an email or a text or a phone call. And I was back and forth with Richmond, a couple town board messages and a little of this, a little of that. And then I'm at Naples Grape Festival, I end up talking to Hospice House. Among other things, just, it's, you can't ignore it. It's, if you care,
You can't
you want
pick
someone that
20
cares.
years of an issue in one.
You can,
Or should,
You
or
can.
should we and put it behind us? That's the other thing to do.
And Chris, can I ask, how many, have you ever tried to track how many hours?
I do track everything. I track everything with the county and the town.
Okay,
Yep.
so.
I gave a sheet. Did you get, so I actually gave a sheet,
That's 16 hours.
I put, and that's low. It's been 22 to 26 and sometimes 28 hours a week.
And I look at it per man hour.
It does include going to the bathroom.
Per hour. Simple, we do the same thing at the firehouse, when you have these fundraisers, the carnival's a perfect example. It took so many man hours to do the carnival, we made $5,000, and you divide that over the man hours. And each man was being paid basically for
30
paid per
cents
man
an
hour,
hour.
it was, no, 7 cents an hour.
Yeah.
You can't work for 7 cents an hour, you can't work for what this is asking you to work for. You are working for what we, but to attract somebody in the future, we will never be able to do it. Everybody's gonna say,
And that's based on, that's honestly.
I
that's
wore
ba-
blinders too many years saying you ran for the position, you knew what it paid. Therefore, suck it up. And I've had a change of mind in that. When I ran for town board, there was competition. It was a vote off. And I really didn't expect it to pay anything, and I never, when I get my town board check, it's kind of like Christmas and March, June and September. Cause I don't really, when we're doing the water district, I think we earned every goddamn penny that we put in. But once the heavy lift is over, I can sit back and say, we're well paid for the hours we put in. But in your situation, computers are supposed to save us so much page.
I'm trying with that. But
So I can acquiesce a little bit. I'm with Terry, not one fell swoop, a huge amount. Step it up. Put the carrot in front of you that, okay, you run your next term and it's gonna be increased by 5,000, it'll offset it.
That's actually part of my decision is if I'm gonna run again.
Mhm.
Definitely the
And-
support of the board
and-
is important to me.
The situation that I would, looking at you stepping in new and me saying to Terry, would you do it for that?
Mm.
And that makes you take a big gulp and say, boy, I don't know. Cause I wouldn't.
I'd be glad to switch if anybody wants to. I've said that more than once. If anybody wants to switch, I'd be delighted. I would have no problem. And I would support the supervisor to every extent of my ability.
and
I'm very serious.
my concern is just with Kate said, you do it all at once or a little bit at a time. If you're doing a little bit at a time, so we divide it out over 3 years.
We can't
It's-
keep, we can't keep up if
can't-
we do it over an extended
Right,
period.
we'll never keep up with a one, and then somebody gets their eye on it, he got a 10% raise last year, what's he gonna do next year?
Right.
You can't give him another 10% raise, because we gave him a 10% raise last year. If you do it all at once, you'll get people, oh, you gave him a 50% raise, and then the next year they'll forget about it,
We're done.
guarantee it won't be, yeah. You look at the next year's budget, oh, okay, he got his 2% raise.
Well, another part of it, you have to look at it, is the abysmal public participation we have in town finances, town meetings. You know, if all of a sudden somebody says, hey, they gave double the supervisor salary, it's gonna raise some hackles. But then again, they did it in Richmond, and it seems like nobody knows about it.
I'm aware of it.
I could
And I know
add-
the amount of hours he puts in. He
I
puts
could
in,
add my 2 cents,
oh, absolutely, of course, please.
maybe more of a moral bet, but if you discover an inequity. You need to correct that inequity now. As soon as you. Cars fall where they.
I think that's why Terry is asking about other towns that are comparable in terms of size and budget.
I mean, they have the same supervisors in all similar towns. Have the same responsibilities.
Right, well, I'm not saying, you know, we're justifying it in this town, that town, or whatever, okay? If we come to the conclusion, this week,
It'll be you.
You have input though, as a citizen.
if, let's assume me for a minute, if we come to the conclusion or the realization that what we have here is not proper, if someone is not being compensated properly, if we come to that, not whether some other towns do it or not, the time it takes in this situation, the money's being paid in this situation, and if we determine that it's unjust, then we need to correct it, we need to correct it now.
One thing we have done in my 30 years of town government, it'll be 30 years at the end of this year. My contribution, planning board and town board. We've always done comparables.
Oh, sure.
The highway department of town of Canadace has consistently been on the lower scale. And okay, they're paying theirs this, I will jump them a little bit, jump them up a little bit. I think the entirety of the town of Canadace on the pay scale is on the lower end.
I agree.
Consistently, we've been on the lower end.
We're last in every category.
And maybe it's time we got into the, you know, 2023, 2024, 25, 2025 reality of money, inflation, factor it all in. Maybe we got to take a really broad look across the board.
Well, and it just not to distract anyone, but this is a big one. And I've discussed this with several people and maybe didn't catch it, but our highway union contract states 2.5%. I am actually gonna reach out to the union and say, are you okay if I give you? And I hate percentages, but I did the percentages. The percentages stick. That's why you see all round numbers here. I don't wanna mess around. 7.8% for the highway. Why am I doing that? Why would I suggest that? Because I gotta renegotiate a contract with the union in this soon.
Right.
And if I reach out to them and give them more and take care of them now, they're not taking such a big hit later, because they're gonna come back to us even higher. But if we make good faith now, taking care of our employees is very important to me. It really is. I don't wanna lose anybody because somebody else went higher. So to go a little higher with our highway guys, that's something I'm comfortable with.
Okay, so.
And I do have to reach out to amend the union contract and see if the union's okay with that.
So let me ask,
And I'm proposing that to the board.
Well,
That's how it is.
I would disagree with that because the union bargains and they bargained at that rate with their representatives.
Okay,
That's what they agreed to.
okay,
So when the new negotiations come out, then we can present them. They'll come in at you know, we want 10, we want 12, it might come in at. They might come in at 8.5.
Oh, I got a feeling.
That's when we negotiate. We don't wanna open up negotiations. We don't wanna open up the door before negotiations are due.
Because my
Okay,
fear is when it comes to negotiation time, they're gonna say, well, you gave us 8% last year. There's no reason you can't give us 8% again this year.
okay.
No reason.
They have representatives that negotiate the contract, and I think they have to earn their money. And they represent the union, and we'll let that negotiation come when it's due. I don't think we should jump the gun and offer more than what they're
What's
asking.
your recommendation on the, highway staff? Cause they're at 13, 5, and 8.
I think the highway staff should say, I don't think we should mess with the contract, because the union is not gonna give. The union is not gonna be any favorable to us because we did
You feel that way? Okay.
Money ahead of
money
time.
ahead of time. No,
Okay.
no, they're all out for themselves.
In my
Okay.
years on the town board, it's my honest opinion that I think the union has hurt the highway department. I think they'd be making more money if they hadn't gone union.
Well, part of my thinking was this might show good faith on the town and they might
I don't think
feel
we
that the
should,
town would take care of them then.
I
agree with
honestly
John
do.
and Mark,
Okay, that's fine.
contract is a contract.
Okay. Okay, so I have the, other side of the question, okay? Cause as I did a sheet similar to what you handed us,
Sure.
and my concern was the planning board and ZBA.
We bumped them up significantly last year and I'm thinking about doing it next year. Yeah, we bumped them up significantly last year.
Cause believe me, people look at this kind of stuff.
Right, well, when I was on the planning board, I think I started out at 25. We could certainly bump that up again. I just thought percentage wise, like, we went from 40 to 45 last year. And no one balked at the percentage last year.
Right,
I wanted to take care of them last year,
right,
both boards,
okay.
because of the CPI. And that was one area I
I
did,
know you don't like odd numbers, but.
I
you know,
don't.
Maybe $2 or $3. And, 10 for the chairs,
Yeah, it went up 12%. Theirs went up 12% last year.
right? Right, but look at the vacancies.
Good point. Okay, you got my support. You got my support. I just thought on top of the 12%.
What do you think?
You can't get anybody to do it, and I think that's a lot of,
Yeah,
it is all
and,
time.
and if we're going.
That's
into a
fine,
comp-
but you're gonna take it down someplace else.
That's fine.
Just do it.
You're gonna have to make it neutral to the budget.
You can do that by using, some of the.
We just killed the highway guys.
Cause there's no carry forward used in, townwide at this point.
That's fine. I would like to go through these, cause some of them have things going on that are not obvious.
Okay.
So on
So
the first page, the assessor, you have a 7% increase. That salary there
Yeah, that's.
was for
salary.
Lisa, who had 2 or 3 decades of experience. Now we have a new assessor. So you're proposing to give the new assessor without any experience a 7% increase over what we paid Lisa this year.
Over on the side.
So
And
my
then-
question simply is, should the assessor ramp up to a full
That's
experience
your
salary
agreement.
over time, or?
well, you notice
is it a
that's
job?
less than some of the others. And the challenge is many towns are having a hard time finding assessors. You can do a little research on that. And we're lucky we found a good one that lives here in our town. And they have a town assessor
Well,
who
it's the
lives in
same-
your
it's the
town.
same- It's the same thing.
and is,
I would like to see what other towns are paying the assessor.
I can rattle that off real easy.
But then enlighten us, there's something going on with the town clerk. Besides the salary increase, there's it's $22,000 assistant town clerk. What's going on in the town clerk's office?
Looks like there's 2 people.
No, it's
Other
it's Stephanie and occasionally Elaine comes in and helps out. So. doing the
Diane.
water bills-
Diane.
I'm sorry, I said Elaine. Thank you. Do you
And
want to,
Diane is also gonna be shared with the assessor's office so that she is not gonna hire a clerk.
We're gonna.
Right now?
With the assessor's office.
Pardon me?
I'm repeating what you're saying,
Oh,
but we can't hear you.
really?
Very low volume.
Maybe the remote, the volume on the remote.
Nope, they're all at 100.
Is it coming through the TV? Can the TV go up any louder?
No,
TV's cranking.
right?
I'm at 100% on mine.
Yeah, you're fine. It comes through the monitor.
Oh,
Anyway, we're gonna share Diane with the assessor. So there's three, well, there's Eileen and then there's two other ladies that come in.
and
Why
Stephanie,
is this being increased? I don't wanna understand that. Just asking why.
well, Stephanie's is a
And
new
it's not-
position.
I can't hear you, Eileen.
Stephanie's is a new position.
Oh. Are you hearing that? Stephanie is a new position.
Is there something going on with the volume?
No, and this happens when you're talking to us, is that it comes through the monitor. And so it's difficult for Terry and John to hear.
We still have to address that too. We'll have to put that in our budget, I'm serious. That's a big deal.
Speaker.
Well, eventually we need a bigger monitor, yes.
One
Sorry.
step at a time,
Why?
one step at a time.
I
The
just
water,
simply-
the water billing has
trying to get
added a
an
lot more
explanation.
on than what
I
was
can't hear her.
expected.
Eileen, would you pop down here for 2 minutes? Cause you do need to hear this.
It'd be easier.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a change in,
No one's making more money than they were last year. If you look at the CPI, every single person, if it's below 7.5%, is making less than they were a year ago. So everybody's taking a pay cut just by living and breathing.
Right.
That's the problem.
I think what Terry's saying is the administrative budget, not Eileen's, is going from 13,000 to 22,500. And you just made a point that I would like everybody to hear.
The water billing and the water district has added way more time than we expected. So
Yeah.
I'm spending a lot of my time on that with things that would not have been anticipated. I have to have somebody who can do those functions if I go on vacation. And having someone here once in a while is not gonna do it. I have to have somebody here on a regular basis. The money in the budget for Stephanie is a maximum. She's hourly, so she may never even hit that amount.
but if it's related to the water district activity, why wouldn't the water district activity fund this?
We're
I don't
working,
have a separate,
we're working on that too.
I don't have a separate salary for that. It's part of my salary. It always has been. It's never been a separate salary.
And
I'm
that's
just saying common sense. Handling the water district administration, that expense in my mind ought to go to the water district.
We're
correct.
gonna separate it out.
We've looked at that and we kind of came up with about $6,000 to go to a few of us, CEO, town clerk, budget officer, supervisor.
I don't know how you separate it out, Terry. There's all the calls coming to me.
Okay.
I could get 3 calls on water, I could get 3 calls on taxes, I could get 3 calls on school taxes.
Mhm.
How do you separate it out? It's all under my umbrella. And if my clerk isn't, or my deputy isn't in enough to know those programs and she can only take a message, that's not helping me
Well,
either.
the water district could pay a portion of that.
That's up to the
I
board.
meant, just we can take a. Maybe you could.
We've actually talked about this.
Yeah.
We've talked about this, Terry.
And just so you know, someone was very generous. That was not the increase I asked for.
Okay.
But I definitely think having a deputy here on a consistent basis all year long rather than tax time, hunting license time, and then tax time again, or just when there's a large mailing, which has traditionally been what Diane has done. She's done it very well. But now I can share a little with Holly. If Holly needs help, Holly doesn't have to pay a separate clerk for now. She may not need to for maybe even through midway next year, because now that the full revale is done, her load isn't as bad and she can take the time to learn her job. But, and I'm not being argumentative, I'm just telling you, it's added a lot more than was expected.
We had no way to predict what it was.
No, we couldn't.
We didn't know what we didn't know.
The whole process, we didn't know until we got into it.
So I'm supportive of that. Which don't understand why the water district can't contribute to, you know.
We're actually,
That's up to you guys.
It can,
we
so
talked, Kate and I have talked about it. Kate, if you wanna,
I had a conversation with Christopher. That it would be appropriate. And I did look at two other towns. The closest one to us that I could use as a benchmark was Richmond. There should be $6,000 for labor paid out of the water district. $1,500 each for town clerk, CEO, bookkeeper, and budget officer. And there's a way to do it without increasing the special assessment or the 8 cents a gallon. And then we're gonna have to look at, we're gonna have to look at it in 2
Those of us
years.
in the water district should be collectively funding those hours,
Mhm.
not the.
not the town,
Well,
exactly. Thank
right.
you. That's, oh, I love it. I second that motion.
And that is the
And I'm the water
conversation I
district.
had with Christopher. I did,
We did.
I've got it.
We've got it. In fact, we're just gonna, we might change that a little bit, but that 6,000 is a good number.
That's fine.
It's a good number.
We have to use $2,000 out of carry forward for the special assessment. That's it.
And again, the budgeted amount for the new deputy position may never even reach that amount. She may only work 2 days 1 week and skip a week.
Mhm.
We don't know, because she hasn't worked a full year yet, but I had to base it on her being here 3 days a week. Just for the budget.
Yep, no, I got that.
Good questions. And good answers. Thank you.
And Diane's salary, so the little bit she's gonna make, she's happy to come in when we need her and work with Holly or work for me or whatever, so.
Okay, and you've just answered my question. There's 2 hourly rates
Yeah,
for,
I didn't understand that,
okay,
because Diana's salary,
okay. Okay.
Diana's salary, how?
she's salary just like I am. So whatever she works. So we'll use her as much as we can.
Yeah,
So
on the,
you having her as deputy? Just a straight deputy?
She was salary.
That's what that, okay, that goes back.
that's what
Gotcha.
that number is.
Yep,
Okay, on the salary sheet, there's 2 deputy town clerks, one at 1950 and one at 1865. You have to make up your mind.
1865 was what I had.
Was what you submitted? Okay,
and so it's the quarterly stipend is at first deputy is Diane.
Because Stephanie's not,
Yep.
listed as. Yeah.
Gotcha.
cool. Thank you.
Much, yeah, it just was hard, it was hard to hear.
Hmm.
It's just, we're gonna get it,
I don't get why it's doing that,
we'll get a new
because
TV.
it never used to do that.
Yep, it's always been like that when you talk to us. Yeah,
Let's with Terry, we'll swap Terry. Terry, you can do the computer and be right there.
right. Okay, moving on.
All right, can you get that done? Can you take care of
So Chris, on the same page, 1440.4,
where?
10,000 for engineering, what is that?
That is, so to offset the income from the, things that we'll be doing with the money, we had to show an expense. Can't
For-
show a revenue.
for
It
what?
offs-
Is this clean energy?
Yes. Oh, no, that was input from Chris. Chris and I worked on some stuff.
Like I say, that should not be in the budget.
Okay.
No, because,
one time.
yeah, it's a one-time hit. Yeah.
I don't know if going forward, if we'll keep getting grants. That's a good, that's.
I know,
We don't know. That we don't know.
okay. I'd pull both of them, but
Which ones are you pulling?
I would pull the engineering for 10 and the revenue for 10 from clean energy. I see what you're doing, but. It
That's
wouldn't,
right. Everyone I talk to.
it wouldn't fly in our department.
Like
That-
one-time expense type of deal. but
Exactly.
Adding to.
They,
the budget.
yeah, they don't go in an annual budget.
So, but then that becomes a wash again,
Yes, and like I say, when you get the revenue.
because
you
that keeps our,
get an
our
expense.
fund balance is really important, as you
Exactly.
know.
Yeah,
All right.
Okay.
What page is that on again?
it's on page 2.
Page 2, engineering
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah,
In front of me?
yeah, that's clean
Oh,
energy.
Pardon?
that's why you're gonna go to school in January.
Exactly.
right?
Yes, I got
Yes.
the dates for you.
Yes, we can send you to school, or you can take,
There's a new elected official school in January, and there's gonna be one in Rochester, and that's in the budget. That's in this budget.
All right, and what did we decide about the superintendent salary? 73 or 74?
74%.
I said 74.
So we'll fix the salary sheet. Eileen, did you get that?
Yes,
Before we.
So
get too
code
far away from
enforcement,
highway,
you've got
can
it.
we revisit that?
We sure can.
One of you said a contract is a contract. I want to remind you that 2 years ago, Christine violated the contract by changing their health insurance on them. And that is still a big deal next door. So
we
the
ran
contract
into it,
isn't necessarily a contract, if you want to look at that way.
we ran
They
the.
did
sit-
not
Go ahead.
bring a lawyer into this and press charges against the town, which they had every right to do. They went with it and Paul, I'll use Paul for an example. He pays $400 extra now per pay period for his health insurance. Granted, that is on him because he wanted to maintain the insurance that he had because it's a better prescription policy than the new insurance that we're on.
The situation we ran into that. Mark might be the only one that's privy to the information. Whether it was Blue Cross, I think it was Blue Cross Blue Shield. They gave us a program to accept or reject. And we had, in order to keep you guys covered, we had to accept their program.
Well, that policy still exists, because they're still on it.
Yeah.
And that accept or regret was given to us December 18th. We had 3 days. For us, we had 3 days to accept it, otherwise we were gonna lose insurance coverage.
Was this in 2021?
Yes, this was Christine's last year.
There was a bit of a
So a
plus.
contract is not a contract, if you're gonna look at it that
Yeah.
way,
I
because
understand.
that was a blatant violation.
Thank you. I was not aware of that.
And it will be coming next year in their negotiations.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it will.
It will be coming.
And that's why you say-
I'm kind of with Chris on this. If you can do something right now to kind of maybe smooth things over, you might be farther ahead.
That's why I did the issue with the healthcare suite with Health Compass to give them some extra. And Jeremy, can you just tell them some of the things it did for you? It's something, it was
It's
something,
something. It
Right.
basically, it takes
their taxable rate.
your taxable rate. It withdraws a bunch of money, which gives you credits that you can invest in. Like for me, I have it in a couple life insurance policies and then like an Aflac type deal. And then somehow they reimburse that back into your paycheck. So it lowers your taxable income.
And the town saved money as well with this endeavor. That's something I did 6-7 months ago.
But Paul doesn't qualify for that. Cause he's a smoker.
Yeah, I'm trying to encourage them to.
So
quit
he
smoking.
lost all, the life insurance and some of the other medical stuff, so he didn't
I
qualify.
was hoping he would quit.
Let's not wish
that's a wellness, that's the wellness thing, but a healthy employee certainly helps us all. The smoking, we got a few smokers in town. Yeah, but thank you for bringing that up. So, you know, to Jeremy's point, that's partly why if you take care, if you show you care and you show you're human, and it's things, you know, I didn't join a union. I don't want to, I'll just forget that part. I want to take care of the highway guys. That's why I thought that would help us with negotiations and possibly if they thought the town would take care of them, they could not be union guys anymore. Put the union dues in their pocket.
I'm not
The
sure.
contract goes through 24.
Yeah, so the end of the end of this
So
year
It will be, the negotiations will be happening
now soon,
next year.
and that's part of why I'm.
Coming years.
So I've got to negotiate also with the water district next year. So there's more hours.
Yeah, so they worked,
I'm gonna need more hours next year because of the water district and negotiations in the union contract, among other things that come up like FEMA and hazmat. Look at my fun stuff.
so they worked 2021, the entire year without a contract,
Without a contract.
without a contract. And then Christine did that to them. I'm not a union guy myself, but those are my guys and I'm gonna do what I have to do to take care of them.
Right, thank you.
Boss.
They're vital to our town, as you all know.
They sure are.
And if there's, I mean, I wanna take care of everybody, but that's why
So you wanted, they're supposed to get 2, right?
2.5,
2.5, you wanna give them,
like triple that. So 7.5. 7.8.
The town of East Bloomfield just
13.5.
requested a 10% raise for their guys. They settled on 7%,
The town board,
the town board.
excellent.
I'm sorry, do that again.
The town of East Bloomfield, they were asking for a 10% raise for the highway guys, and the town board settled on a 7% raise.
7.
Was this union negotiation?
This was.
They don't have a
they were
union.
In their budget.
They don't have a
budget
union.
Meeting.
They're non-union.
Over there.
They're non-union, makes a
But this,
big difference.
right,
Like I say, in my years on the town board, when the highway department voted to go union, and it's individually. Where you get 50-50 right now, you got 2 guys are union, 2
got
that aren't.
3 guys that are union, 1
Oh,
guy.
3 now?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
Uh,
Ryan ended up joining.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, they,
Yes. I do.
they
They match?
would let
Yes,
the union go,
You didn't think I was gonna give you one
except
of
for
those?
what was pulled on.
Look at the hourly.
Because of what happened in
the hour.
21, now it's, you know. They've got a sore taste in their mouth.
And to his point. Last thing I wanna do is lose one of them. They're all good. They work, and part of it too is. This is something the board needs to understand. These guys work together. Years ago, we had,
there's a lot of animosity. in
years
that
ago,
highway
they didn't all get along. We couldn't even get 2 guys. A crew of more than 2, can I say that?
Yeah. There
Okay,
was 2 guys that did.
You
all the work
couldn't-
in The entire town, and then Tim. Tim was pulled out of the mower.
Yep.
To help the other 2 guys,
that were working.
because.
Now we have 4 guys
The
that,
2 who are.
that work and do a good job.
retired Were never around.
And also they're good with the public, so there was an accident I came upon, I was following Ryan in a plow. And we were coming down Jersey Hill in a snowstorm, and there was a guy in a bank. You couldn't have scripted, he was just did it naturally, the way he pulled over and made sure the guy was okay, and everything he said was perfect. We want a guy like that to stay, he's what, 35?
He's
40?
29.
Oh, what, no, Chuck is 35.
No,
Chuck's 43, I think.
Chuck's.
Oh, he's an old guy.
He's probably 51 or 52.
Okay, wow, okay.
Hey, no personal information on this recording.
Exactly.
You know, he's still got 10 years.
They could always log in and listen to this, this is awesome. But what I'm saying is. They're good people, they work.
I think possibly if you were to. Let the cat out of the bag and so that. The superintendent can go back to them and say. this is what they're thinking, town board's thinking about doing this.
Yeah, I gotta go to the union. They might say no.
Well, the union might,
He's not gonna say no,
But
because he gets a percentage of what they
what they
make.
get,
He
in
gets
addition to
paid-
union dues,
He gets paid by what their gross is. When their gross gets up, he makes more.
Right,
So, and they're doing overtime and stuff.
everybody does, yeah.
I don't need them for daycare. Sorry.
80, so it's $87 a week. Is what it tells me.
More.
Yes. Which. it's not bad.
When you look at the big picture.
Look at the big picture, a tank of gas now is.
Yeah.
I mean,
$94.
$65.
Cost me $94 to fill my pickup truck
okay,
up the other day.
and when the contractor was writing, it probably cost 40,
Right.
44.
Yeah.
No, price of gas has doubled since the contract was made.
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and some things have gone more than, some things are more.
Yeah.
Look at propane, a 1 pound propane tank's like $8 or $9.
Just buy them for $1.99.
That's
That was-
quadruple, that's
That
quadruple.
wasn't very many years ago.
No, I know, I fortunately I had a bunch, but now I gotta buy them again. Oh my gosh.
I'm going yourself.
Okay,
I-
so
I'm-
we're all old.
We'll talk.
The 21st
I
century
tried,
is
but I
calling.
can't get it. I got the
Yeah.
video, it's like $27. And only a little bit goes in. I gotta talk to you.
Who's the tank?
What's that?
Who's the tank first?
All right, let's move this forward before we're here all night long.
I got, I
Uh,
don't have to teach till 8 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
I've got kind of a little bit of change of mind and I don't have a lot of serious objection to this. This is only our first meeting.
Yes, and then, yeah, it's just,
We got lots of time to discuss it.
Yep.
Think it through. Let's move on to the next issue.
So what did you decide then for the highway?
I gotta agree with John, I've got to change your mind, I mean. I've been told the only way to keep employees is to pay them so they don't go looking for another job. And
Well,
that's
I don't see our town employees looking for another job. When we hired Ryan. Jeremy and I sat down on Ryan and Chuck's interviews. And when I spoke to him at that first Christmas party that we had. I was talking to him and I asked him, I said, what do you think about your job? And he says, when I got my first paycheck, I thought they made a mistake. Cause what he was getting with the state. Is almost double.
Yeah, but
working
these
for the town.
guys. have been
I
switching
think our
jobs
town
right
guys, I don't think they're underpaid. I don't think they're overpaid.
we have a candidates resident working in Richmond.
And he makes less than Canada's guys. Cause I've approached him about
Okay.
joining our team and he's got too much invested in Richmond to.
Okay.
Jump ship.
Okay.
But let's move it.
Okay,
Let's get off highway department. I think.
all right,
we
so,
can throw them a bone at any time. We got time to digest it.
Yeah.
You know, let's not make a decision tonight.
okay, so.
So
we're
for the,
keeping it there.
for the tentative, you're leaving it where it is then?
Yes.
Yes.
The MEO, okay. Light and
Okay.
heavy. Got it,
All
thank
right.
you.
Okay, so I have a question about highway revenue. The real property tax revenues goes up 63,000. Is that again suggesting revenue closer to actual?
Are you on highway now?
I'm on highway, page 1 revenue.
DA, what's the line?
The very first one, VA 1001.
One,
It goes from 480 to 543.
why am I not on the right page?
Page
Oh,
one
I'm
of
not on the revenue page, that's why.
Okay.
That would help. Nope.
Your page one is general funds?
That's a Williamson
Okay,
law
no,
thing.
Highway revenue, page
Oh.
1. The real property tax revenue goes from 480 to 543.
Oh, there it is, there it is.
See it?
I do now.
Okay, is that getting the revenue closer to actual?
I believe so, yes,
Okay.
yes, yep.
Okay. The CD, I agree with, that was it for that.
Okay,
Richmond. And Hemlock, we've got in at 2%.
I had one question for Jeremy, just the services for other governments, that's good, that number.
Where you at?
2300, DA 2300, services for other governments, intergovernmental.
Hmm. Oh, that dropped to zero. Why did
You're
that
at
drop
zero.
to zero?
I don't know if Krista missed it or you want me to go?
I
I've
don't
got,
know what-
I've got what you submitted here. I can take a peek.
What
The
what
debt
is the
services for other- Is that your CHIPS funding? Is that?
I think CHIPS was accounted for, but I gotta look.
What page is it on?
It's highway page 1 revenue.
DA 2300,
Yeah.
the line item.
Okay,
Right. Yeah, I did have that circle.
Oh, good. Glad you caught it.
Huh.
Not easy, you know that.
Yeah, cause that would definitely drop to zero.
Right,
If anything, hopefully it goes up
right,
like it did this year.
right.
so chip funding and
Right.
maintenance, culverts.
Yeah, that's all the state,
Bridge and highway and all that.
you know,
All right, so what we should probably say. I'd say 130 at least, right? 140.
You're looking at 22 was 132, you're looking at 23 was 139, almost 140.
And that's only through September 1st.
So I think you're gonna realistically look at those numbers, if not more.
You still got more CHIPS money to come in?
Yeah.
I haven't put for any, I got, the paperwork is in an envelope on my desk to drop off tomorrow with Lisa, so we haven't got any CHIPS money yet.
What happened 2 years ago? The state cut Jeremy's CHIPS funding by 17,000.
Yeah, they
And
cut it
then
by
we-
15%.
We looked at the difference on the budget and there was $18,000 more in the town budget. And I made a proposal that we just transfer that 18,000 to the highway department to cover his CHIPS shortfall, and it didn't raise the tax base. It would have dropped the tax rate, I think, 2 cents a thousand,
Right.
2 cents a.
I
What-
thought I saw that CHIPS, document somewhere. For 24.
So you're thinking
They won't release the numbers until the governor passes their budget.
Okay, oh, then that's not till
But
next
it
April.
will,
Yeah.
it will stay the same as 23,
Okay,
but as far as any increases, we won't know until after the governor passes the budget. And
Right.
then it'll be probably another month after that.
what about QIP, WQIP, same thing, got a zero there.
No, you
obviously.
can't do that.
Yeah, that's a
those are
one-time thing.
shots. Yeah,
So keep,
it's just like
that's,
clean energy.
okay,
As basically
all right,
we float it in an account and then when we get
Exactly.
reimbursed, it
Gotcha.
goes back in.
all right, so 140 for 2300. Sound about right?
Yeah,
You get that, Eileen? 140 for DA 2300?
Yeah.
I can give you the exact amount, the next meeting
Okay,
for then.
yeah, if you have it before then, because actually, that next meeting is in less than 2 weeks.
It's four different line items that they pay us for, so.
Okay,
So that'll drop the appropriated fund balance to zero and you'll still be out of balance. So have fun.
oh, we absolutely have to come up with more expenses, here we go. Maybe we should have seen it. This right stinks. I'll do my best,
Okay. So
raising you.
Jeremy, and you looked at like, sand and gas and all that, and you're good on the expenses? I was surprised that it didn't
Yes.
go up further.
He was pretty, he put some time on that.
Okay,
I gave Chris all the information. So basically what it came down to is in the past 4 years, the winter contractual that DA 5142 has only gone up $4,000 or $5,000.
okay.
Last year, alone, the price of salt went up $10 a ton.
You said.
went up this year too.
This year it's up like $2 more from last year.
Okay.
But didn't they make the agreement with Cause you gotta get it through Cargill on the state bid, you know, and you have to take 50% of your request
allotment.
allotment. And then you guys can go to American Salt for the remainder, because they're coming in at like $40 a ton less.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah.
So
It's huge.
in May, I have to basically sign a contract with OGS and give them how much salt that we want to purchase. We're only, previously, we've been required to purchase 70% of the 2,000 tons is what I tell them is what I want. So we've had to purchase 70%, which is, it's a little less than 1,500 tons. This year they changed that, so you only had to purchase 50% of that. And then after the fact, I got a hold of Livingston County's contract that doesn't even use OGS. That's their own contract with American Rock Salt. And the price of salt is $42 and change delivered, no fuel surcharge. That price is what it is. It's almost $20 a ton cheaper than what we're paying through OGS.
Still,
And the way OGS works it is it's a per ton price with a market rate fuel surcharge on top of that. So I think the last salt that I got in, it was 38 cents a ton added to the per ton price. Back in 2022, when diesel was almost $6 a gallon, we were paying $1.38 a ton extra. And that changes monthly, that fuel surcharge.
He put his homework in.
So
So you can buy 50% of your salt on Livingston County contract.
all I have to do is I have to buy 50%, I have to buy 1,000 tons from OGS. And then the remainder 500 ton or whatever else we end up needing, I can piggyback off of Livingston County and save $20 a ton.
Smart. Okay, so you asked a question at the board meeting that, I didn't know if it was in the budget or not. The truck that we're gonna use for the CEO and, assessor, who's paying insurance and gas on that? Is that in, townwide?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay,
Cause I might use it once in a while. I might run down to Canada's Hollow on Friday.
right. The question is, are the expenses in there?
It should be under the general because it's open to
Okay,
if anybody needs it. That's really what it is. That's how I feel.
okay.
And there might be a time when the highway guys need it. We'll let them, we won't nickel and dime. If you need that, you know where the keys are.
We have to buy salt from OGS.
No, Livingston County does not.
I have to now because I'm committed to them. Ontario County was going to put a separate bid spec together and send it out to bid. But we didn't have enough time before the May deadline where we needed to commit to OGS. And the fact that Livingston County's price wasn't available until July. So at that point, we're already, I mean, everybody in the entire county is in the same position. We're all committed to OGS for 50% of what we requested.
They're putting the bid together now.
Is there a fresh resolve next year?
Next year, hopefully, we have our own Ontario County bid. And we won't have to use OGS at all.
You can compare them then. At that point, you can say, okay, what's gonna be better,
Right.
OGS or Ontario County bid? They're putting the bid together. Fletch is working on it.
Right.
He's got it. I guess Fletch and Dan.
Yeah, and Tim from the county, county purchasing.
Never in my career was OGS cheaper.
Oh, no. Yeah, but it's just countywide, it's just kind of come to our attention that these other bids are actually out there.
Sorry, I didn't need to bring that up.
Okay, So, we still have one page to go over, but I want to make certain that we're all on the same page. Kate, did you get all your circled items within the meet?
I think so.
I know there's a few I'm gonna massage and micromanage, but get better detail on, so some numbers. Will change, and as things come in, we'll have a better idea.
And like I say, the Hemlock fire, right, we don't know.
Correct.
Okay.
I think,
We're just assuming 2%.
I think,
So the letters.
Oh, you said you saw it. I think that's good.
you got a letter handy, because I think I didn't give myself a copy.
So the bank.
It might have been a pass out. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't make, that's why.
That's that file.
Do you have the file of the pass outs with they got all our signatures on them?
No, I passed them around. It's not in that.
Somebody took it. Where'd it go? And we didn't talk about the hospice house, and that's a new item. It's a separate line item.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting we take a look at it, because there aren't too many facilities where if somebody is at the end stage of their life. And if everyone's familiar with what a hospice is, correct?
My thoughts on that, I think if you open up that door. Genesee was gonna be calling you, Lime was gonna be calling you, I think they got one, I know they have one in Canandaigua.
Well, it's the closest one to our town. Is what, that's what I'm thinking. It's
Is it the only
for our
one in
residents.
this town?
Pardon me?
Is it the only one in the town?
We don't have any in town. It's in Naples.
I see what John's saying.
Yeah.
So.
Canandaigua has, town of Canandaigua has one,
Right,
right up by the hospital.
right.
It's the old, the
It's
farm
the-
implement dealer.
But
He
is it
donated his house.
is it a place where anybody can go? It is, okay.
Almost all hospice houses are open.
So is it no more than a 2-bed facility? Yeah, okay, so yeah. This one, talks about Springwater, Springwater, Cohocton. They even get folks from Atlanta, Bloomfield, Canandaigua, Cohocton, Dansville, Farmington, Geneva, Hemlock, because sometimes a bed's full.
Mhm.
And I would just propose consideration of supporting, that's just my. Thing as a person, a human, a taxpayer, I just think it's the right thing to think about, so we don't have to decide that tonight. There's a special line item for
Hospices bigger than.
it. They go under right now, they went to a 1-bed because they got nailed during COVID. They're trying to go back to a 2-bed. They're trying to raise $90,000 so they can do that, and a lot of what they do is through volunteers. It's
Most hospice houses are volunteers, and they will provide a room for the family of the person that's passing away. They'll have separate facilities, usually a full kitchen, a bedroom, living room, so that they can be with them when the family member passes.
I didn't see this, and I didn't see any letters this year, Little Leagues.
Everybody's come back, so Richmond Rec is all set. I don't know if we got something from the Legion, but $250 for the Legion, $500 for the we can go back to the budget.
I didn't see anything for, I saw the other ones, Little Lake.
Little Lakes will
Community
put
center.
in a request for 500, I'm sure.
Yes, they did.
They did.
They did.
I'm surprised the Legion didn't ask for 500. I thought they did last year.
It was $250.
We gave them $250.
He gave him 250. I think they asked
Asked
for
for 500.
Yeah.
Oh, and you said,
My situation with it, I explained to you that, we give away $28,000 a year of Legion funds that we donate. The Legion gives Little Lakes $500 a year.
Really?
We give every church in the community 250 to 500.
Wow.
Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, 10th Mountain
They didn't
Division,
submit their budget.
USO, we give away a crap ton of money.
Oh, okay.
So my mentality on it last year, the town gives them money, they're just gonna give it away.
Okay. So do you
And
propose to continue our,
I would. I'm a 50-year member of the Legion.
and you're a former commander?
I'm well aware of their financial situation. They don't need it,
Should we give it to the hospice house?
something to consider.
That's what I was gonna say. I would like to see Little Leagues. Drop to 250. Then if we can take the 250 from the Legion, that's $500. That's.
It's, so they're asking for a lot more, but it's something and it shows good faith on the town. At least they have
I'm
that
sure they're
conversation.
asking for more.
Yeah.
Everybody's asking for more.
Asking for more.
Sure. Go to their fundraisers. You know, I go to their fundraisers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've supported them. Yeah, they've had nice, yeah. So, that's a new line item, just to give you the line. So that would be, you'll see it on page 6, the code for that. It's called other home and community services. It's under right underneath cemeteries, amazingly. That's just, I didn't do the numbers the state does, but it's under,
That's sad.
when we looked it up, I go, really? But it's so it's underneath cemeteries and it fits on that page. I got other, it's called other.
Yeah.
And then comma, home and community services,
Which page?
page 6,
Oh, okay, I see.
Bottom
Yeah.
of page 6.
right below cemeteries.
Under,
Can't
in
make
the
this.
past, and it's one thing.
I want to,
that-
can I just give that number out? Can you hold that thought for a second? So I don't forget. A, like Apple,
Right.
8989.4.
Okay.
And we're gonna look at 500.
That's what I.
But it's coming out of other lines.
All right. And
And the cemetery is 3,000. Is that for work that we're planning?
so, as a result of my involvement with the Honeywell Central School District, I had them coming out here for a day of caring. And with further discussions with 2 faculty members, there's a program called Coral, and I don't know the exact acronym, what it means, but essentially students that need an extra hand with life skills. So they learn how to do laundry, they learn how to cook, how to sell things, and just blue collar type applications. They proposed they could build a new sign for Canaan Ice Hollow. We just provide the materials. They also,
Got one signed up.
well, a nicer sign. That was their idea.
Okay.
That was their idea. And also they'll bring upright headstones and pour concrete.
That's substantial.
This, I'm going by what the faculty said.
Okay.
So they're talking about a couple days where they'll come out for 4 hours and let's see what they do. So that money there is budgeting for
Okay.
materials. That's what that is. Yep.
Okay.
Are you comfortable with that?
Oh, and they're
work
gonna
with it.
volunteer?
They're gonna volunteer the labor and 2 staff members. So our tax dollars for faculty and, but in the busing over there,
So
but
this is
still,
for cement and wood.
yes.
Okay.
Yep, the
Okay.
forms, yep.
Wow.
And also maybe cutting back the trees a little more than our
Tell
friends.
them to be very careful of the poison ivy.
Yeah, I don't guess I don't get poison ivy, but occasionally I do, but you must
I
be,
do.
you have sensitive skin, yeah. I'm Italian.
So I get it so bad.
Oh, my goodness, yeah,
And I'm like looking and going,
Yeah.
oh, that's poison ivy. Oh, well.
yeah,
Now, poison sumac is another story.
yes.
That kills me. All right. So that's what that is. And just going back to where we're pulling that from real quick, just so I have it on my sheet. Because Chris is gonna enter.
The Legion, and we're gonna cut the,
So
Lakes.
the Legion is, just so you know, is out of 7989.4.
okay,
So that goes away. Let's say just no. And then the Honeywell Senior stays the same. And I don't know if we're giving money to Little Lakes right now. I don't think we
did
are.
last year.
I'd like to know where that's coming
There
from.
was 1 year we didn't.
No, I don't think we did last year.
When Little Lakes came in,
I don't think we did
and
last year.
their first year of request and I'm 100% against burning up money, which to me is fireworks. So we gave them the fireworks stipend.
Oh, that money's still sitting there, the celebration money, that's still sitting there,
That's right, that's what we got.
the community
That's where-
events.
That's where the Little Lakes got.
So that hasn't been used.
No.
And I'm thinking about doing a town open house. This year, actually, before the year's over. And then something like that next year, that'll be our community celebration, just bringing people in the town hall to try to get volunteers. More people just to come up on the hill.
Yeah, because we have an abysmal lack of civic involvement in this township. When I ran for office, we had people vying for positions.
Right.
When I ran for
Part of
planning board of all places, we had people vying for positions.
when I came on planning board, it was between me and Ed Johnson, and they voted for me. God rest their soul. Ed.
Now we can't get anybody, you know.
So there were two people vying for an alternate position,
Yeah,
and I was on the comp plan.
we've got to get people involved in town government. We used to have a town picnic.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm earmarking that for. So there is $500 available, and I'm looking at a Saturday in October. I was gonna tell you about that eventually, so there it is. Looking at a Saturday in
So
October.
the open house of community
Don't forget the
involvement, I
picnic
think
table,
that it needs to
Right.
be there.
We still have things to do.
Let's, moving on,
Moving on, okay.
let's go.
So, there was discussion on the salaries and the per hours. We're good with the highway. We talked about planning board and I didn't change it on my sheet. Was there consensus on the planning board stipends? We haven't really put anything to a vote, but do we have,
No, nothing was thrown out
right?
for changes for planning board and zoning. You were just discussing it.
I like, I,
I would do 48.
48, ugh,
Yep.
I hate that number.
I know you do. That's
Not
why I
50?
did it. I would do
That didn't come from Chris.
$100 meeting for the secretary. And you gotta come up with the chair.
Well,
Why are the two chairs different?
well, because the ZBA does not meet every month automatically, and from what the ZBA does and the planning board, it's night and day,
Okay,
night and day,
okay,
night and day,
okay, so
night and day.
3 1/4. And
That's it? Wait. How about Ted 350?
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but thank you.
that's okay. And then the ZBA chair. You gotta do something. You can't leave it at 0. Yeah,
280.
fine.
You know what God knows.
You don't like God numbers?
No, I like zeros. It's, the math is easier. 48. Oh, God, I can't stand
So what are they?
Planning board, the people on the board 48, planning board chair 350, ZBA chair 280. And then the 2 secretaries 100.
Thank you.
Planning board is presently 35 a meeting.
45.
45,
It is 45.
yeah,
We raised it from 40 to 45 last year. That
We
was one of the
raised
first
that.
things I did.
yeah. That's not bad.
Try.
I must have been sleeping during that.
No, I'm okay with it.
Can't get over the fact that apparently board members get paid something.
Yeah,
Somebody sold, that's not being sold.
When every quarter comes around, just like Christmas. You're not anticipating it.
it's not big, right?
Is it gonna put you in another tax bracket?
Probably,
Don't go out and buy a new car.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
You might pay your insurance premium, but don't go out and buy a new car. I think we have a lot to digest between now and the next meeting.
Okay, so the water district,
Yes.
okay, so on the revenues, okay, because we got into this last year right at the last minute, so Eileen will appreciate this. The special assessment, you ready, Eileen? Needs to be 122,982. And then we'll take the difference out of the appropriated fund balance, which is $2,118.
So you're changing those,
You have to.
I don't know where you are.
Okay, it's on the water district revenue, page 1, first line. I'm sorry, second line, SW 1 1030.
got it? 125, 1 is gonna be
122.
I'm not even there, not even there.
The last page of the packet. The last page of the packet up at the top. Can you hear me?
Yep,
You ready?
yep.
122,982. And then your appropriated fund balance needs to be $2,118,
This is
Where-
under revenues?
correct?
And what's the so I'm looking at,
Oh, right, we didn't, that's, it shouldn't be. in there.
what's the, account number?
For
Is-
the appropriated fund balance, it's a blank line. It's, the second line up from the bottom,
And that number again.
2,118.
Did you fine tune that?
I did, and it's because we lost 2 parcels. I reported that to you and then checked with Holly.
Yep,
And it
that's
has-
correct.
It has to be a whole number, and that is a number that the county actually calculates, so we have to have it exact,
Oh, yeah, there was a thing last year where they came,
right at the last minute.
right, yep, I remember that.
So appropriated fund balance, 2024 right now shows 0. And
Correct.
it's 22,118.
2,118.
Okay,
And then there's other small adjustments that should be made so that we can do $1,500 a piece for the budget officer, bookkeeper, CEO, and clerk, town
And
clerk.
actually, the bookkeeper's doesn't do very much, so that probably would be less.
You okay with that?
Yeah, yeah, so
Okay.
we're gonna play with those numbers. Yep,
Okay,
yep.
so, and you'll make those adjustments?
Yes,
Okay,
yep, yep,
and if you want help with the lines, holler,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
got work.
okay.
Coming up this week, so the next board meeting's coming up pretty quick. And there's gonna be a few things on the agenda, but I'll get the packets out quickly. Should have them out by Thursday, Friday. Have to look.
so
any-
I need the tentative budget to give to the board by October 5th.
Yep,
For the board meeting,
yep. I'll be kind of massaging a couple things and I want to get that one number from the state, so just in case that changes things, we'll have plenty of time to look at it. So we'll want to have it in their hands by the 5th. Let me just put that on my calendar. Just in case. Give me just a moment. Oh, dear.
and thank you for the discussion, this was a healthy discussion,
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
oh no, and by the 5th, so I theoretically. I'm just gonna put the 4th.
National Seniors Day.
Is it?
Yes.
Freaker, what?
At
night?
4. Yeah. Used to have some of these. Going back and forth.
4th would be better because I'll be working on water bills too.
Yeah, but I'll certainly. I'm definitely gonna be here both days. I'll probably be here almost every day. I will not be here on Sunday. Bill's Miami. Absolutely. Maybe I won't be here on Saturday. Let's look.
I've got another question for you.
Yes, sir.
on, The highway. In
Sure.
the packet that I gave you, there was a proposal for skinning the salt sheds. I see there is nothing that reflects that in the township contractual.
Okay,
Is that something that we want, is gonna just get covered out of general fund?
no, I like putting it in there. Don't know
Well,
why.
and when you adjust the revenue, you're actually gonna have money, so it'll cover,
How much
Yeah.
was it?
yeah.
Well, I beat her up a little bit. And
And thank you for pointing that out, Jeremy.
yeah, cause they will probably not make it, too many more years.
And what line item is it?
Is it permanent improvement?
Here's the new proposal from her.
I'm thinking, because we had 250. Is that part of that 250? Was that,
She's changed the proposal to go with the Sourcewell contract, so I don't need to bid it. And added an extra 5 years to the warranty on the fabric. And made it cheaper.
Okay.
Are they starting to rip and deteriorate?
Yeah. Yeah, the upper parts are no longer green, they are more white from the UV breakdown. And there are several rips in there that have been patched and several rips that have not been patched.
How long has it been up there?
2008, I think they were built.
So there's originals.
Those are originals, yeah.
Yeah, it's come down. So the maintenance package and the emulsion spray are the same, but the overall came down
We
good.
have a coverall building for our self-storage.
Did you, oh, okay, you did know
They're,
that.
they're plastic roof on the salt storage barns. And the UV rays eat up the plastic.
So the original proposal, just for the fabric. Was 74,572. I think that one was like 67.
Yeah, I got it in front of me. Yep, it was 74,562. The new one's 67,257. So it basically came down.
The maintenance package and the spray on the walls stays the same. That's a service that they provide. They'd have the wall sprayed 2017, I believe, in one of the one of the buildings, but not the other one.
And do you think that was in that 250? Probably not. The 250 I budgeted. I'll go back and look.
What line?
Uh,
I
50,
I would think if it was in
51,
something,
12.
it would be in that A 5132-4. Salt shed contractual or the town shed contractual.
said 50,
5132.4. That's the account that I use for any work that we do there on the.
all right, but so basically 81,000 isn't gonna cover it. It's gonna be a little more than that. You got other things going on too, right? Or just,
81,000 is what her proposal is.
right, I get it. But is there anything else you want on that line is my question.
Well, cause she came in with a lower bid, so that gives you a little slack to work with.
Okay, 'cause we have 50 in that line right now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so you go off that, or then it gives a little slack if you need to.
Yeah. Yeah, cause I mean. With any contract, it doesn't cover the unforeseen, you know, if they come across the frame that need, you know. a frame or
Eileen,
something that needs-
Eileen, I'm gonna go, Eileen, are you still with me?
Yep.
Thank you. DA 5130.4. Page 1,
Okay.
it's at 50. I'm gonna put it in at 85.
That's my equipment repair fund.
Did I-
that you're putting that in.
Whoops.
I
What?
need all that 50.
I'm sorry. Did you say 5140?
A
Oh,
5132-4.
cheapers. I got it. 5120 is going to 85.
What page is that, Jeremy?
Page 4,
Page 4,
the townwide general fund.
51.
So it's
32.
it's not under highway.
It's A fund. General fund. Town shed.
So you need to add that to the 20.
I never understood why that's there, but it is what it is. It's highway.
I'll just write down the number. I'm not seeing it. So
It's
it's A 50,
132.
Yep.
.4,
and you're changing it to how much?
85,000.
All right.
It was 20.
Okay.
It's one up from the bottom, Eileen.
I'm not even close to it, so I just wrote it in.
Okay.
I think I got 5132.4. Hut.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Isn't this fun, Rich?
Why did you take all the pages this are? Was 1, 2, 3, 4, 27?
No, I want,
One, two, Wayne, 1, 2.
I wanna
1, 2,
commend
3,
Richard.
1, 2.
I want to commend Richard by being here, volunteering his time, because when it comes next year, he's gonna be ahead of the game. I mean, it's got, it, thank you. Thank you.
It takes quite a while to figure this.
Oh, I'm still,
line items.
I'm still learning, and I do have some materials from the state controller, if you want some handouts I accumulated, I got a lot of handouts on stuff. And I found out about a lot of towns that are in really bad shape. I'm going, wow, they did what? They were just telling things that are going on that are just like, oh my gosh. But I've also a lot of good things too, a lot of good things.
Like I say, this town's in really good shape. There's a lot of towns that are desperate.
I've walked in some town hall facilities and there's no drop ceiling, there's open pipes, there's cobwebs. And wouldn't be,
That's
up-
where we
look what
were.
happened in West Bloomfield,
That's where we were in 2023
yeah. Right,
or 2003. This building didn't go up until 2004 and we were in that little schoolhouse. We're in a mobile home for a year.
so glad I didn't start then, I would have like, oh my gosh. That would've been
We
crazy.
came out of the dark ages in the last 30 years.
It's a new century, oh, it took a new century, that's what it was. The cannabis is. There's other things coming too. Thank you for putting up with all the emails. Are all the emails working for you? I know there's a lot. But you want, but they're gonna keep coming. There's things there's things coming. So know that, but they're good things. We know we've got a water contract to look at. We got a union contract coming up. But hopefully you can make the picnic, and it's looking, it might be the 14th. Might be the 14th of October, just to give you.
I won't be there if it's the 14th, sorry.
Oh, then we're gonna have a big party. Wait,
Okay.
that's town clerk day.
He didn't
That's
tell you
my-
it was at your house.
That's my birthday. I'm gonna be out of town.
But that's why we're having the party. I didn't want anybody to know. You ruined it.
Sorry.
All right, so now we're at the 28th. All right, remind me that your birthday's, okay. thank you.
No.
All right,
I'm just telling you, I won't be at a picnic if it's that day.
all right, we'll make a to-go, we'll make a nice box for you. All right, motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Boom, done. Second. I was waiting for you, I was waiting for you.
Oh,